incredible day lined up for you here today. It is all about Christian Kuckuck. It is all about Max Kühner. That's from a sporting perspective. But as we know, this Global Champions is so much more than just the sport. Rosie Turner, we have the privilege of visiting some of the most beautiful places in the world. Talk to me about, for the very first time, stepping foot here in Rabat. What is in store for us? What can we expect?
It's an amazing location, the capital city of Morocco. We're also right next to a UNESCO site, the Hassan Tower, which is over 1,000 years old. We're really bringing together the years of culture into our weekend. And as you can see behind us, it's already kicking off the party because we're bringing elite sport together with culture and heritage, Mark.
We continue to break ground. We continue to do things for the very first time here on the Global Champions. And let's talk about that sport then. Let's show you just how we come down to a final day showdown to crown a 2024 LGCT champion. This is how we got there.
The wait is finally over. The is finally over. The championship can finally begin here in Doha, Qatar. It is Max Kühner unbalanced into the combination. There goes the back rail. Christian Kuckuck, 37-33 is the beat. And it's gone. And it's Christian Kuckuck with Mumbai. Oh, light rub. Max Kühner. Kühner now trying to get home as fast as possible to also have a chance at podium. It is second place for Max Kühner. Kühner next with a second place in Miami, and hence the second place also in the championship standings. And there goes the front rail. Christian Kuckuck with checker. And now into the final line for his third Grand Prix win potentially in his career on the Longines Global Champions Tour, and top spot on the standings as well. There is Kuckuck. Max Kühner. Final line for Kühner, really risking it at the Longines upright. As a stride in the end, Max Kühner has won his second Grand Prix in his career on the Longines Global Champions Tour. A clear means the lead in the championship. That's how early we can call this already. There comes Max Kühner, and he's gone clear. Kühner can take enormous lead. You know what it means if a rail would fall, but it's not going to fall. Here comes Kühner on his favorite hunting ground. No, it's gone. It's the win for Ina Jolie. He comes second and does great business here for the championship. Kuckuck. No second split. Where sits Kuckuck with Just Be Gentle? The 38.64. The Vos went all in, and so does Kuckuck. It's gonna be close, it's in front. Kuckuck, he closes in. He is 25 points behind on Kühner with 3 stages to go.
Max Kühner. The season battle now really intensifies as Christian Kuckuck will not have a time penalty. This to be the first clear round of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Rome. Christian Kuckuck overtakes Max Kühner with his brilliant afternoon.
This has been the championship battles throughout the 2024 season. Christian Kuckuck and Max Kühner finally come down to the last stage, the 15th and final stage here in Rabat for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Rabat, presented by Qatar's Years of Culture as part of the Qatar-Morocco 2024 Year of Culture. The course walk is about to be opened up. In fact, I just heard the bell that it has indeed just opened up. We'll get some concepts on how that is looking now. Let's remind you of the overall rankings. This is what it looks like going into the final day here in Rabat. You have Christian Kuckuck in first place. You have Max Kühner in second place. Only a handful of points separating the two of them. and it makes for a rather interesting conversation. If you're wondering why there is a white and why there is a grey, everybody in grey cannot win the championship today. We've made this real simple for you. There are 2 riders remaining. Christian Kuckuck, Max Kuhne, the only 2 possibilities in winning today's title at the end of the afternoon. The question now becomes what is needed for either man to get over the line. What is required for either Christian Kuckuck to stay in first place, or perhaps for Max Kuhne in second place to leapfrog Christian Kuckuck and take the title here at the end of the afternoon. We welcome Fredrik de Backer into the show for the first time to talk about this. Fredrik, before we talk about what's necessary, let's talk about these 2 fantastic men, these 2 fantastic riders that come to the sport with so much. How do we begin to even compare these two men and what they've been able to put down in 2024?
Well, they've really made it a close battle, haven't they? Kuckuck only took the lead on the championship since Rome, so that's only 1 stage. Only 8 points difference, and we'll hear the scenarios later, but it's such a close battle that literally anything can happen. I mean, I remember how Harry Smulders won the championship last year, and actually he didn't need that much to go wrong. It was nearly guaranteed for him to be a success. Here, this is anybody's game. This is really undecided. It's open. Of course, there is the advantage for Kuckuck, but this can go either way. This is really up to this final Grand Prix. It's going to decide everything.
And coming into this, if we take a look at the season, what they've brought, the horses, the Grand Prix, the clear rates, it speaks about how and why these 2 men are so clear. Just talk to us about those similarities, how tight it's been between these 2 title challenges.
Well, Kuckuck rode 1 Grand Prix less compared to Kuhne. They both have 1 victory. Kuckuck has got 1 second place less, 1 second place for Kuckuck and 2 for Max Kuhne. So if it comes to a tie on points, that those second place finishes will become crucial.
You have a wonderful ability as we take a look at just some of the numbers that Fredrik is talking about here. The number of Grand Prix jumped, the number of clears and double clears, the horses that they find themselves in with in the 2024 season. And as Fredrik said, that extra podium all of a sudden may well prove to be crucial, but that would require some things to go that way. Let's talk about what is needed here. You have a fantastic ability of simplifying this for us, and normally this can get quite complicated. If I'm not mistaken, in your own fantastic words, there's a rather simple way to look at this today, right? It actually almost, dare I say, becomes, at least for understanding, quite a simple equation, correct?
Very easy. If Christian Kuckuck finishes in front of Max Kuhne, he wins the championship.
Anywhere.
That's how easy it is.
All right.
If Max Kuhne finishes in front of Kuckuck, he wins the championship, but only from 17th place on. So if Kuhne finishes 17th and keeps Kuckuck behind him, he wins the championship. If he goes 8th, 9th, doesn't matter. From 17th on, with Kuckuck behind him, Kuhne wins the championship. So basically, if you look at the results of those riders over their season, they're always, nearly always, inside the top 20, inside the top 17. So I expect the very same thing to happen here this afternoon. So then basically it's a straight shootout. Whoever finishes in front wins the championship.
And if we take a look at just general endings to an LGCT Grand Prix, sometimes if rails fall, oh, that's it, it's over. When you're talking about a magic number 17 here for Max Kuhne, let's suggest 8, 10 get into the jump off. He can still have a fast 4. He's afforded a potential rail down, maybe.
We looked at his season. You know, how did his season come about? And what stands out with Kuhne, who rode less clears, less double clears, and more Grand Prix, who has more volume and in theory less results than Kuckuck. When Kuhne had a rail down, he was always fast. He was always the fastest on 4 and finishing 9th or 7th or 10th. So he's always in that group. Put on that, of course, his wins and his qualifications for jump-offs, but he's always fast with his horses. And the thing is, he brings here that electric blue P, the horse that jumped, I have to look at my paper, but the horse that jumped 5-star Grand Prix this year. Yep. Only 1 Grand Prix on 4 penalties, all the others clear. Even if in his meter 60 class, he's been so consistent. So actually, though Kuckuck has the results in the championship and Kuhne didn't use electric blue that much this season with us, I think the fact that electric blue is here really must boost the confidence of Max Kuhne and really gives him the edge and the advantage maybe.
All right, a lucky number 17 for Max Kuhne. That's where it starts if he is to begin having any opportunity to win this title today. Let's over to Rosie Turner. Rosie, you've had the opportunity to spend some time with both men. It's been, I imagine, an emotional build-up to today's final stage. Talk to us about some of those emotions that have been running through both Max Kuhne and Christian Kuckuck.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. As you said, it has been emotional. Both of them want this so much. We saw Kukuk earlier, actually in our studio, watching the course being built. Very calm, very quiet, and really getting ready for this championship. And as everyone has said, anything is possible today, and that is what is so exciting. I actually had a chance to catch up with both Max Kühne and Christian Kukuk. We had a little bit of a surprise for them. Take a look.
Hey.
Good to have you here.
Nice to meet you.
Ahead of the championship, we thought we'd give you a bit of a boost for the weekend. So I've got something for you. It's a bit of a surprise. I'm actually just going to leave you. I'm going to leave you to it. So I'm going to press play. Enjoy.
Hey Champy, you're a Grand Prix winner, a Nations Cup winner, and get this, you're an Olympic champion. But as you said so beautifully in Paris after winning the gold medal, you are still Christian Kukuk. And we are very grateful for this Christian Kukuk. This incredibly loyal, ambitious and reliable guy, this funny and charming guy who has his heart in the right place. This conscientious and perfectionist guy who really would deserve to win the overall standings in the Global Champions Tour after all those goosebump moments the last years. Especially because you always form a unit with your horses. You put so much thoughts and effort into your horses that you always adapt to their needs and get them on your side. Gina will definitely fight for you this weekend. We will keep all our fingers crossed and believe in you. And as I said in Paris, go get one of these medals. We love you.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say. I love her. I mean, we know each other so well, and I know she is one of my biggest supporter and one of the most important people in my life. You know, that it's not always so easy to deal as the perfect Christian you want to have, but anyway, I try, and if there is a moment where I felt, oh shit, that wasn't really right, she is dealing absolutely perfect with it, and that's just nice to have. I really believe in you are nothing without family, and it doesn't have to be blood family, you know what I mean? Like, there's always some things happening in life. My mom died early already, so but there's a big family still around me, and it's not only about blood. But for me, you are nothing without these people. You really need, or everyone needs these people in his or her life around you. And that what makes my life even more special. I want to share all these moments with them. That's what life is about. I think also one of the biggest part, that's why I am how I am.
Hi, Max.
Hi, Rosie.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
We've got a little surprise for you. I'm going to leave it with you and enjoy.
So today is the day. It's gonna be very exciting. We are here back home cheering for you, giving everything with Blue and Julius. We believe in you. You're a fighter, but most of all, you love your horses more than anything, except from your family. You are such a hard worker. It's impressed how disciplined and hardworking you are, and you really deserve this. Go for it. We know you can manage, and you will do it. Now over to Grace.
So, although there were so much ups and downs in your riding life, you were always continuing and never stop believing in yourself, and I think that's really impressive.
Dear Dad, you probably noticed, but we are currently on 3 different shows. I think it's quite obvious to say that you made all of this possible, a life that people only dream of. There's always ups and downs, no matter if it was one of mine or one of Grayson's or one of yours. You were always there for us. After a bad round, I think you watched your video 10 times to analyze it to the most detail to improve and get there. Christian already brought home 1 gold medal, so I think now it's your turn. Go for gold. Good luck.
Fight with your best friend, with blue, and we know you can do it. Sucks. Cheers, Maxi.
Cheers. Cheers, Papa.
Oops. Yeah, that's very intense. Nice surprise.
What does it mean to you to see that?
Yeah, you can see we are riders' family, and horses are our main thing in the family. It's all about them. So I think what we do is only possible when the whole family does it. It lives for it. I'm not so good talking about emotions, but it's intense.
What would it mean to you, but also your whole family, your grooms, everyone around you, to win this?
Would be fantastic, of course, because I value this quite high, because it's not only a one-day result, it's an overall result over the whole season. And this is like a proof for constant good results on the highest level.
And you see the emotion in the eyes of Max Kuhne, of Christian Kuckuck, when they realize just how and why, and more importantly, perhaps who they are jumping here today for. It just shows you how deep this passion runs, and why today is the 15th and final stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour in Rabat is so important. What it will mean for either of these two men that have sacrificed so much in the 2024 season, from the start of it in Doha all the way through here onto the African continent for the very first time. We are going to crown an LGCT champion, and it is going to be one of those two riders. Who then has the fan vote? Who do the people here on site think is the favorite for today's title showdown? Well, we found a funny way to walk around and try and cast some votes. Kuhne versus Kuckuck. Who wins?
The big question everyone is asking: who will be our Longines Global Champions Tour champion of 2024? Kuhne or Kuckuck? Who's going to win, Kuhne or Kuckuck?
I have absolutely no idea. I think Kuckuck.
I would say Max, because Christian, he won enough this year.
Christian Kuckuck. I think Max Kuhne is going to win because he's part of the Shanghai Swans and he's in a very good shape in the moment.
For me, it has to be Kuckuck. A little bit patriotism here.
Max Kuhne. I think he's been very consistent all year.
I think Christian Kuckuck.
Kuckuck, because he's younger, faster, and German.
Christian Kuckuck, I think. He has a super group of horses.
Max. I think it's his turn to win a big one.
Kuckuck.
Christian Kuckuck.
I hope he wins. The stable will be much nicer place next week if he does.
Yeah, we're also friends with his sister, so I'm hoping for a good party.
Well, it seems like the overwhelming favourites in and around the showground here in Rabat is Christian Kuckuck. My favourite response actually was Owen McMahon, who said that the feeling around the stable back in the Riesenbeck will be far better if and when Christian Kuckuck wins. That is the showdown today. We've also been throwing the question out on social media, asking you to cast a vote as well. You might not be here in Rabat, but you have a voice in this conversation. You have a point to be made as well. Here is the social media poll as we continue to try and work out who you think is going to go on and lift the 2024 Longines Global Champions Tour title. And as it stands, much like on site, the overwhelming belief seems to be Christian Kuckuck. So based on the votes, is it going to go according to plan for Christian Kuckuck, or according to the votes, is it going to be an upset based on what people are predicting, and will it be Max Kuhne? We'll have to find out a little bit later on. Remember, Frederick pointed out what is required. It is simple enough. If Christian Kuckuck finishes in front of Max Kuhne in any way, it is a victory for Kuckuck. In order for Max Kuhne to win, he needs to be in 17th or better with Kuckuck behind him. So a lucky number 17 is what Max Kuhne is looking for. Freddy Tabaka, let's talk about this course. Let's talk about this track. We expect it to be big. We expect it to be challenging and hopefully full of color as well. What has been built for the 15th and final Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix today?
You couldn't bring it to me any better, Mark. Lots of color indeed, beautiful Arabic patterns. For us, it's beautiful to watch. For the riders, it's a little bit interesting because this is the wall at 3. We're jumping it from the other side. You see Manuel Fernandez Saro standing on the other side. It's quite a tall wall, and we haven't jumped this all weekend. So this is brand new for horses and for riders. And this is already at 3, Mark. So this comes up very quickly. And this kind of sets the tone because it's big all the way around, and it's a little bit, for my feeling, an atypical round that Uljana Vezzani has built. For example, here, 4 to 5, it's a short 3 strides to a huge plank at fence 5. Then 5 to 6, it's slightly on the outside 6 strides to fence 6, and then we enter into the triple combination. I just want to point out, everything is really, really tall. But what do you expect? I mean, it's a Grand Prix worth €500,000. There's a championship at stake. Championship itself is another €300,000 as well. So for whoever wins the Grand Prix in the championship, would that be Koekkoek or Kuner, this is nearly €1,000,000 at stake, Mark. Do not forget that. But then entry into the triple combination is huge. You have to get out of that triple combination, which is Oxer to Oxer, and that is a castle as well. If you look at it, Oxer to Oxer is always a challenge. But then, and this is what makes it, in my opinion, a little bit atypical. So we had the short 3, we had the short 6, then you have to go around that wall to the vertical. That is an outside 9. Then you go to that Oxer. That is an oh, sorry, just in front of Willem Vermeer with the cameraman. Here, come. Yeah, there we go. We were there at outside 9, outside 8. The only forward line is over there from that Morocco-Qatar Year of Culture into the Morocco double. That is a forward 5. That is typical Uljana Vezzani. But then again, you come round, have a look at this plank. So it's a long gallop from 10 to 11, plank where Daniel Deusser is walking. That's the plank of the Qatar-Morocco Years of Culture. And then you have to go this way. We follow Deusser here up to the golden rails, and that is also again a holding 6, and then it's a 4 strides to finish off. I just want to remind you that 7, 8, 9, 10 are all connected, so that's nearly a connected line. But I'm thinking about those short lines and those short distances. Many of them are actually not in a straight line, so that always gives you the opportunity to move to the outside a little bit, find your room, so you can shape. If you steal half a meter in the beginning, you get 4 meters at the end of that line. So you really, it's going to come down to riding perfection. Scope, yes, I know that the triple combination is Oxer to come out, but this is going to be about riding perfection. I expect the time allowed to be short as well, but with all the related distances on slightly bending lines, you will really have to pinpoint your horse specifically at the point where you want to take off. Right rhythm, right position. That is a little bit the plan here. Yeah, Mark, again, atypical. Lots of waiting distances, but the opportunity to ride them through the bend. So interesting course by Vezzani. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about in commentary.
All right, Freddie Tabaka, I look forward to hearing you in comms in a few moments' time. Thank you very much for giving us some insight as to what to expect today in this LGCT Grand Prix designed by Uljana Vezzani. As Frederick said, a lot of colour, but a lot of challenges and a lot of money up for grabs too. A €500,000 Grand Prix and a €300,000 prize money up for either Christian Koekkoek or Max Kuner, who is to go on and win the overall championship later on tonight. So essentially, there is €800,000 on the table here today in Rabat, as we get ready for the 15th and final Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of the year. What that also means, just by the way, need I remind you, with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks' time, that means that there is a 15th and final golden ticket to be handed out by the end of today. Let's remind you of the names and the faces that have already secured their spot in the LGCT Super Grand Prix to take place in Riyadh in a couple of weeks' time. These are the winners from Doha, every single stage, all the way through to the final here in Rabat. That means that we have one spot open, one spot available that still needs to be filled. 14 golden ticket winners already, and a 15th to follow as we get ready for those big GC playoffs in Riyadh later on. All of those riders will go head-to-head to compete for the biggest Grand Prix, the Super Grand Prix, later on this year at the GC playoffs in Riyadh. Boy, that is going to be a massive, massive spectacle. We hope that you can join us for that in Riyadh in a couple of weeks' time. For now, though, let's talk about what is needed for one of these men to get over the line, someone who has experience in doing so. Rosie Turner, you alongside Ben Mayer. Interesting to get his thoughts on today overall.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. A previous champion, 3 times a champion, 2018, 2019, 2022. You are no stranger to the finals day. You aren't jumping today, but just give us your thoughts on the championship.
Yeah, it's been a long season by this point, but both riders that are in contention, they're going to know, well, I did anyway, you know exactly where you got to place, what the other one's got to do, and you kind of configure your way through to get to an endpoint. What advice would you give to them both today? I mean, in the end of the day, it's a new day. It's just it's another Grand Prix, and most likely whoever wins today, if you win the Grand Prix today, you're probably going to win the overall. But I think Christian's definitely got the upper hand a bit right now. But then Max goes later in the draw, so it's quite a lot to play for. When you won those 3 times, what are your fondest memories? Do you have a fondest win? I've been very lucky here on the global tour. I've been a little quiet for the past season on this tour, but I've been lucky to win many of the different stages on different horses, and winning the overall is definitely a massive deal in our sport. And I think back in Rome on Explosion, I think it was the second overall that I won. I think we won actually before the final. Just incredible horse to be able to do that for me, and definitely a moment I won't forget. Max was saying to me yesterday that this is the one that everyone wants to win because it's not just about one show, it's 15 stages. It's a big one. Yeah, it's about consistency. The 3rd time I won, I actually don't think I won a Grand Prix that year. Probably the only person to have done that with the horse Faltic. He very consistent in the top 5 in nearly every Grand Prix, a few times a podium. So it's just proof that it is the consistency through the tour. But obviously if you win a few stages, as the 2 front runners have done today, it makes life a little easier. You've been walking the course with Natalie Dean. I can't be standing here and not mention this wall because to us it looks enormous. But what do you make of the course? It's a difficult course. I think it's fair. It's a lot of prize money today. It's very delicate. There's a few oxes with very gappy open spaces between that the rider has to be very careful that the horse focuses on the top rail. The last line is difficult. It's going to ruin a few people's day, I think, today, but it always looks easier when you have your jeans on. It's going to be a big day. Thank you for chatting to us. I will let you go because I know Natalie will want a bit more advice, but I have actually caught up with a few other riders to hear their take on the course. Thibaut Spitz said it's a final worth course. It is a final worth course. Jill Thomas said huge, just in one word. Julien Aquitaine said, oh, it's big enough. And lastly, I managed to catch up with Max Kuhner, and his words were, it's nice and I'm confident. So there you have it. We've got a few quotes from the riders. This is a big final Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, Mark.
All right, Rosie, thank you very much. It's interesting to hear then perhaps that Ben Mayer has a feeling that Christian Kuckuck also is a slight advantage for today's championship. He does make the point as well, though, that Max Kuhner is later to go, and maybe that just gives us an opportunity to remind you of the starting positions between the 2 men. Christian Kuckuck, and just be gentle, now 10 years of age, will be 16th to go just before the break. And that means that Christian Kuckuck would have jumped well before Max Kuhner gets into the ring, because Kuhner and Electric Blue P, because of a better qualifying time, only start in 30th position. That means that there will be a lot of time for Max Kuhner to try and work out exactly what Kuckuck has done, where that leaves him. We told you a magical number of 17 and above. Christian Kuckuck means that there is nothing that the German can do to turn this around. If Max Kuhner earns a 17th place finish or higher, and Christian Kuckuck is behind him in any way, it is game over and he wins the title. It's quite the opposite for Christian Kuckuck. Any position higher than Max Kuhne secures the title for him. He goes in 16th place, Kuhne in 30th. That is how the two men come out. We ask you to once again, as always, get involved via social media with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love you to send some questions through to the studio. The social media team will go through those questions. They will pick the best ones, and we will have the 2024 season champion right here in the studio later on tonight. Whether that is Max Kuhne or Christian Kuckuck, your question can be posed towards the winner, and hopefully, if chosen, your question will then air on GCTV later on tonight. The course walk is almost done. Still a little bit of activity happening over our shoulders, happening behind us as we get ready for today's start time. As Frederick pointed out, 500,000 euros up for grabs for the Grand Prix, and then of course 300,000 euros further for the overall LGCT champion. There's also a big 15th and final golden ticket to come later on today. So this is not just about Kuckuck. This is not just about Kuhne. This is about a 15th opportunity, a 15th and final opportunity to get your ticket into the LGCT Super Grand Prix. Speaking of one of those big talking points, Christian Kuckuck is standing by with Rosie Turner, perhaps for one final comment. Oh, Rosie Turner, let's talk about what Christian Kuckuck had to say.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Christian, actually, it was an observation I've just made because he is one of the final riders still in this arena. He is walking this course over and over again. We heard from Max Kuhne that he said it's nice and he feels confidence. And I'm sure that, Christian, you can actually see him in the background here, still walking the course, just checking every single line, leaving nothing, no stone unturned. Could he be our champion, Mark?
The big question, Rosie, thank you very much. Take a look at that. Christian Kuckuck walking this course over and over and over again. Now coming up to the Longines Global Champions Tour fence right behind me, just on the other side of that big intimidating wall that Frederick was talking about. He wants to make sure, as Rosie said, that he has covered every single angle, that he knows every single stride. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of the 2024 Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix season. Come and join us in Rabat here in Morocco for the very first time, and let's stand by and await our champion.
Grand Prix of the Longines Global Champions Tour. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Morocco. Welcome to Africa. Welcome to Rabat for the final Grand Prix of the season. 15 stages, an entire season comes to conclusion here on the African continent. And if that is not enough, we are also going to find out, finally, who is going to wear next year in 2025 for 1 year long the crown of Longines Global Champions Tour champion. Is it going to be Max Kuhne or is it going to be Christian Kuckuck? That is the question that we need to find an answer on throughout this Grand Prix. Another question, who is going to take home the golden ticket, the last golden ticket to the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix, which is held in a few weeks' time out in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, in the capital over there. Here we overlook beautiful landmarks with the Grand Theatre. There we saw the mausoleum. In the background it is the King Mohammed Tower, and there is so much to look at around this venue. There is so much to look at on this venue. Beautiful event has been put together by the organizing committee. A first ever 5-star event in Morocco. A first ever 5-star show jumping event in Africa. This is a milestone weekend for show jumping, for equestrian sport in Africa all together for this entire continent. And it culminates with the championship decider. Kuckuck versus Kuhne is the story all the way through this Grand Prix. What is the current situation? We'll show you the standings just in a minute and just take you through the entire scenario of what we have to wait for and look for in this Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, presented by Qatar's Years of Culture as a part of the Qatar Morocco 2024 year of culture. Beautiful ring of 90 by 60 meters that has given Ujano Vezzani the chance to put together somewhat of an atypical course where some short lines. But first the standings, there we go. Those two men, that's what it's about. Koekkoek and Kuhner. Yes, Meyer Timmerman could jump into second place and drop Kuhner to third, but it's all between Koekkoek and Kuhner. There is an 8-point difference between the two of them. How are they going to battle this? How is this going to play out? Obviously, if Koekkoek finishes in front of Kuhner, it is always Koekkoek's championship, and he becomes the first German since Markus Ehning in 2010 to lift the trophy and to wear the title. However, if Kuhner finishes in front, as from 17th place, then it is Kuhner's win, his first title ever, first Austrian champion just as well. Vezzani has put together a championship deciding worthy track, if you would ask me. It is huge, it is delicate, and there's a lot of typical, as I mentioned already, holding distances. We start on a tall vertical jumping into the corner. Difficult to approach, difficult to find your rhythm, because fence 2 is on a tight angle and straight away breaks the rhythm going to fence 2. 7 strides up to the wall. Scary wall, brand new wall, not jumped yet this weekend at fence 3. Again, look at that. This very tight angle, this very tight turn reduces the pace and the rhythm. Now that could get somewhat handy. Fence 4 is to be jumped, then a short 3 up to fence 5. That's a tall vertical with a plank on top, and then an outside 6, a short 6 strides up to fence 6. Now this has all been about rideability and delicacy. Now it's a part about power and scope. 7, A, B, C, and there you have it. Oxer to come out, that is always tough. 7A, 7B, 7C. Oxers are meters 60 wide, ladies and gentlemen. This is an enormous test through the diagonal, and it's not over, because from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, it is all linked, it is all on related distances. It is 7 strides slightly hidden. You find the 7 strides up to fence 8, it's hidden behind the wall. 7 strides to the vertical. Then it's 9 strides, holding 9 on the outside to the Qatar Morocco 2024 Oxer, and this is the only forward flowing line in the course. 9 to 8A and to 9B. Horses have to react straight away. They're not endlessly long, those 5 strides, but you can't wait until you're 3rd or 4th to start riding those 5 steps into the Moroccan combination at 10A and 10B. And believe me, I stood next to it. That vertical coming out of that double is really tall. Then there is some time, but do they have time? That's still a question that we need to find an answer to. Time allowed, not yet decided. Can you use time, can you win time or lose time here in this approach? Again, a plank on top at fence 11. Then it is an outside 6 to a very delicate vertical with a Liverpool underneath. And then what walks as a standard 4 strides to another Liverpool, Vase, Oxer, natural colored rails. Those are 2 very delicate and very difficult fences. They are tall, they are wide, they are high. They've got the Liverpools, they've got the colors. Especially that last line could get difficult as well, right by the in-gate as well. Many questions, and maybe we overdo it. Maybe we overcomplicate things. Maybe it rides much better than it walks. But if it rides less easy than it walks, well, then we are in for a spectacle, because this is a difficult course, in my opinion, set by Ujano Vezzani. I'm just being informed by the time allowed, which would be set at 77 seconds. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. The Grand Prix qualifier was on Friday. 44 riders went into it, 38 came out of it to qualify for this Grand Prix, and lots of Grand Prix winning horses and Grand Prix winning combinations this year, like Philippaerts and Abdel Said. There is Thibaut Spitz with Impress, who already qualified for the Super Grand Prix, but Brash and Lynch haven't. Koekkoek, of course, there he is, very early, number 16 to go with Just Be Gentle, had the last fence down in the Grand Prix qualification. That's why he is to start so early. Vermeer, Scow, Anquetin, Asnar, H&M Indiana, Rockefeller, Blood Diamond, Kobe. Look at the horses. Fellow Castlefield then, and there he is at number 30 after the break. Max Kuder and Electric Blue Pea. When he reaches that finish line at 77 seconds or less, we know who has won the championship, unless both of them have qualified for the jump-off. That's for later. At the end, a former LGCT champion, the return of Brazil's Lutz Siena Diniz, and last to go, as very often, is Simon de Lestre, and he does that on his great Grand Prix horse on, it said Dexter Fontenay, I thought, or is it on Olga van de Kruishoeven? We need confirmation for that, because it seems that there has been a change in the start. It will get confirmation on that in a minute. But now we have overview of the course. No, indeed, de Lestre goes on Olga van de Kruishoeven, not on Dexter Fontenay Z. So for Olga, this is going to be one of the first big tests in her career.
Qui sera donc dans l'histoire ici du Maroc, 13 obstacles. Mesdames, Mesdemoiselles, Messieurs, voici le premier.
And there comes the first pair. She is 18 years young. She has been an incredible partner for the young man in the saddle. I'm talking about H&M Legend of Love, the mare by Landsauber and Cor Graaf. But it's not her that gave Olivier Philippard his golden ticket to the Super Grand Prix in Riyadh. That was H&M Miro. All that she needs to round off an illustrious career is that 5-star Grand Prix win. And so the disadvantage of the draw, the disadvantage of the qualification, disadvantage to go so early and be first to go in an unknown track for them. No other rider rode it. They're first to go, they're trailblazers, and we'll discover it alongside of them. H&M Legend of Love with Olivier Philippard, his newborn son César and his wife Fanny have also traveled to Rabat in support of dad and partner at the final of the Longines Global Champions Tour. He doesn't have the pressure to qualify for the Super Grand Prix. This man that is so dear to his heart, he really wants to give her one more big highlight in her career. The start at fence 1, the Kashba. And that's gone, oh my goodness. The Chala fence is down and it's 4 penalties with the hind leg for Legend. Holding 7 to the wall. Holding 7 to the wall. The inside line. Now this is not the biggest striding horse. Do we have to put that in perspective for the rounds and riders to come? This is a test. He sets her up. The vertical coming in is very tall. You have to slow down for the vertical. Then you really have to ride and push. She has the 2 back rails down. And I imagine, yeah, he does so. He retires there. Olivier Philippard and H&M Legend of Love. Sensible decision. And nothing left for them to win.
No jump off for Olivier Philippard, LGCT Grand Prix winner this season already, going back to Stockholm, and then immediately after that, yet another LGCT Grand Prix winner this season, the Doha winner, Abdel Said, makes his way into the ring. It is a jam-packed lineup for the 15th and final stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We invite you to come and join us. We're also running a 50% discount, by the way, for the next 2 months on GCTV to give you an opportunity to watch the finals here today and the playoffs to come in Riyadh in a couple of weeks' time. This is the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, the final stage. Come and join us for the rest of the competition live from Rabat.